So I think this would be a really great video for the homepage of our project. We've been working on this project for 5 years, and I'm super excited about it still. And I think it's only going to get better and better. And really, the core function of our project is to solve inflation, and it's a really exciting thing that we've been trying to do for 5 years now. And we have the formula, we have it running. Um, the numbers are looking great, and I think I'll show them to you, and you guys will be, judge it by yourself, basically. So I'll just jump right into it. We have a website. This is our DApp. You basically go here, interact with the website. You can learn about all sorts of things, how to interact with them. As you can see, the interface was basically created from scratch. We did a lot of work on this. So the idea is that we want it to be super simple, and it's a pretty complicated ecosystem. If you take a look at analytics, for example, there's a lot of charts. We built this entire thing. All the numbers here are from the blockchain in real time as well. So the idea is this: what if you had money, let's say 100 USD? What if there was a secondary function to money where every dollar could be destroyed, and in turn, you're going to get um, basically yield over time on the burned tokens that you did, proportion to your burn. So what this means, if I burn 100 tokens, I will get some sort of yield over time. I will explain how the yield portion works, and then if someone else burns 1,000 tokens, then he would get basically 10 times increased yield compared to you. Well, because he burned more tokens, right? So whoever burns more gets rewarded more, and that is really the basics of this, right? And if you look on the bottom on the dashboard here, you can see that we've burned 5.4 million tokens. So and the current supply is 4.8 million. Okay, so in 5 years, we've minted about 50 million tokens. We've, 10 million tokens, and we've burned 54% of that. And if you look on the right side, you can actually see FLUX percentage burned. And the reason you see a bunch of other things like RB FLUX and lock is we have other tokens. So basically, we've refined the idea further. For example, on layer 2 in Arbitrum, and we're changing tokenomics because if Flux is on layer 1, so it's pretty expensive to mint. It could be like 10 cents to mint, as compared to, let's say, RB Flux and Lock, which are on layer 2, right? And with Lock, for example, what we did is we took the tokenomics further, and then what we said is like, hey, what if the liquidity is decentralized, right? And when you burn, you're actually putting it in a liquidity pool. So instead of burning, you're taking your money, giving it to someone else forever, and that person basically sells half of it for Ethereum, and that adds this back to the liquidity pool. So basically, 95% of this token of liquidity, which is right now at $115,000, the tokens are then are added into a permanent liquidity pool. So no one actually has control over this. Like, this liquidity is completely decentralized. It's insane. And you can see that the market cap is also $122,000. So the market cap of Lock is money. Like, it is. There's no asset like this. There's no asset in the world that has 95% in liquidity as market cap, right? So we're super excited about that. This is like something we launched last year. And the supply, the inflation for this token went from 700% in the beginning of the year to 122%, while we're still maintaining $115,000 in liquidity. I mean, if there's no asset like this, and I don't think people understand yet just how refined the formula is for that we've introduced basically for inflation. And then we even wrote a white paper on this. So we hired like a mathematician to break down exactly what it is. This is a little bit over. I'm a developer, and this is over the top of my head. Like, to me, this is very complicated. That's not how I designed the system, right? I wrote a whole white paper, like a technical white paper, where I broke down the whole smart contract. And then we also got audited. So, second. yeah, so we also got audited, which was really crazy. I mean, this audit by itself is $120,000. So this we probably spent more money on this audit than the current market cap of the token, which is really funny. But still, I'm just more excited than ever on this. It's just because I understand at the beginning when inflation is high, yes, market is going to be the highest, the hardest to survive. But if you look at the market metrics, which is just additional metrics that I built, you can see that the supply it's growing, right? And when the supply is growing, what this means is we finally like there's this chart. Check this out: price versus supply. Okay, so if you look, we're finally we've hit it, because when this happens, the market cap will be able to sustain the price, sustain liquidity, and then the supply goes up. And this is exactly what you're saying here. Like it's going up, right? And liquidity is even better because the like 1 second, where is it? Liquidity is even better, um, because the percentage burn can be above 100%. So at one point we had like almost 300%, which what that means is someone can come in, buy 50% of supply, $50,000. They burn $50,000. It goes back into a liquidity pool, and the supply basically it didn't change, but now we've burned a higher percentage, right? And this person, by basically burning $50,000, he owns a lot of the percentage of the pool. And if you go to global validators, you can actually see that how the distribution looks. So this is for FLUX on layer one. This, as you can see, like $60,000, $100,000, $111,000. So a lot of money is burned, and this is lock liquidity. You can see here $70,000, $50,000. So basically, I would say these are the core community members. These are the hardcore believers. Of course, I'm one of them. Why wouldn't I be? You have to believe in your own product, even when no one else does. And to me, basically, this is the decentralization of liquidity. So this is really like the most important thing, in my opinion. Here is how great we have like this permanent liquidity, and it's an amazing liquidity pool, and it's gonna, like, once people start trading it, I cannot imagine what's going to happen, because you have to understand, like, when people start trading liquidity, this thing will just explode, because what's happening is that every second, I will show you. So if you go to define, define, just want to show you. So if you look for liquidity, look at this. Look, this is basically adding liquidity, edit, sell, add, sell, add, and sometimes people buy. And then when someone buys, if you think about the pattern of doing this, selling and adding liquidity, selling and adding liquidity, that is completely decentralized, then you can actually see on the top right that yeah, there is 32 Ethereum of liquidity. If Ethereum goes up to $10,000, we have $320,000 in liquidity. Do you see what I mean? And that's $10,000 Ethereum. I mean, it's not that unrealistic, but we don't even need to do anything. Like, we could just sit here and wait. We don't need anyone to trade this. It'd be great, but if they don't come, it's okay. That is my dream. Like, my dream is, like, I don't even need people to buy this token, right? I just need people to trade it, because if they start trading it, the system will take care of itself. It will basically take a really, really small, like 0.00 something percent liquidity of every trade in a way that traders will be okay with, because it is such a small percent. Because once someone buys it, the system will keep increasing, like, the supply, and adding some more tokens to the pool. So you're slowly getting diluted by super tiny percent, but just by holding liquidity. So if you buy liquidity, you're always getting diluted by a very small percent. And of course, this percent will keep lowering, as we can see. The current inflation is 122%. Next year is going to be around 50%, and the year after that is going to be about 30%. The like the whole point of this is, if people can start trading it, we're going to start locking in more liquidity. And I just cannot imagine, like, the explosion here, the potential. If I have to wait 10 years for someone to start trading this token, I'm okay with it. And I can always come here. I can always just buy and burn my, and to increase my position, increase the yield, right? So that is kind of the gist of it. This the whole ecosystem. We started with Flux, which is right now at $137,000. If you look on the if you go to timeline in proof of burn, you can actually see that if you go to Flux, we burned about $1.8 million of Flux over time using historic pricing. So basically, as people were burning it, at what price were they burning it? So in the historic prices, that's 1.8 million. That is very true. The number is pretty close to that. We burn a lot of liquidity, but really right now it's only valued at 181,000. So if someone were to buy the same amount of tokens that were burned for the current price, it's going to be this, right? But yeah, I mean, as you can imagine, you look at the supply, inflation just keeps going down. So I mean, it's really just an exciting time for our token. I think this is probably like the most amazing idea I has ever come up with, and it's so simple that all that we really need is a secondary function for money to burn, and you can apply this to any token, right? Anything that has anything that has tokens being generated, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, they could apply the same formula. This is a pattern, and I just want to show people the pattern. And as you can see, we have multiple tokens. Even though tokenomics are different, the pattern is still the same, right? You're generating, you're burning, and you're generating tokens. So the same tokens that are minted can be destroyed, and it's such a simple pattern. I'm just surprised that no one has done this before. I just don't understand why. I mean, it's the solution to money. So because by doing this, you're creating a really true cryptocurrency, right? Because if Bitcoin is gold, then this would be cash, because you have a central bank that is decentralized, that is minting, that is completely controlled by the people relative to their investment in the project. So the hardcore believers, they can come in and they can burn like $10,000, and I've seen this many times, and so it's just really the ultimate stress test of the ecosystem in beginning. And to me, I just cannot imagine the explosive growth that I just foresee for this project. It's just I'm still so excited about it. It's just, and we're still working on it. We constantly develop new features. Like recently, we launched games on it. So, for example, we launched 2 games, not even 1. So it's like now it's a pattern of, hey, you can also create games. And for example, in this game that we built, you click a button, and then right now you can click this button and earn 5 cents. Okay. And imagine if it only cost you 1 cent to mint to take this. So of course you're gonna click this button, right? So this is also like a cool game. I thought to be like, what's the ultimate game? You get paid to play it. That's it. That is the ultimate game, right? And that's exactly what I built. You click a button, you will get paid this. And if no one clicks this button, it's going to keep increasing in reward. If you don't click it at 5 cents, it's going to go to 10, 20, 30. It's going to keep increasing until someone in the world clicks it. And that, it's like, it's just, there's just so much innovation, right? And I just still feel like we're so early that people don't, they don't really understand what we've built yet. And I'm going to keep working on it. I'm going to keep increasing, and keep adding to the tokenomics. And I think it's going to keep getting better and better. So anyway, that's my project overall, Datamine FLUX. If you guys want to jump on Discord, then, you can always discuss. So thanks everyone for watching.